Welcome to the Fit Dad Nation podcast, forging strong fathers and raising a stronger generation. It's time to get up or shut up with your host, Steve Roy.
Hey guys, this is Steve Roy, host of the Fit Dad Nation podcast. Welcome to the show. Thanks for listening. So before I get into today's episode, I just want to talk briefly about our private membership program called the Fit Dad Nation Inner Circle. And I've said this in the last few episodes, but I'm just very proud of the program we've built and of the men that are part of it. So if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, but mostly Instagram, I tend to bash a lot of shitty products, fad diets, fake coaches, stuff that's just plaguing this industry. And it's an industry that I've been involved in for 22 years. And I love what I do, and I hate people getting taken advantage of. And unfortunately, social media is just a perfect opportunity for good marketers to make fortunes on people's insecurities and emotions. And so obviously we know that weight loss or body image is a huge, huge topic for so many of us. And when someone knows how to press our buttons and tell us what we want to hear and that they can truly help us, we're interested in finding out more. And unfortunately, there's so much crap out there that people are getting suckered into buying, crappy one-off programs, generic templates, and a lot of it. And I won't say there's a lot of great coaches. There are a lot of great coaches, but unfortunately, I would have to believe a lot more lousy coaches and marketers that are just trying to separate you from your money. So, with those things said, I created a program called the Inner Circle, which I really did pour my heart and soul into this program. We built out a really comprehensive platform. There's so many resources for you as the dad to get fit, get healthy, and stay there. And it's based on accountability. We do monthly fitness challenges and live weekly calls. We have transformation challenges, and there's a huge exercise library and recipe archive. And there's actually a lot of different moving parts in the program, but it's all aimed to help you get consistent, stay consistent. And I think probably one of the biggest benefits is the fact that you're part of a group of like-minded guys who are all committed to being better dads. And the way that I'm teaching that is through physical and mental health and fitness. So if you want to learn more about the program, I'd love for you to check it out. It can be found at fitdadnation.com/inner circle. So I'll link to that in the show notes. And today, what I want to talk about, one of my favorite things to do, and that is training outside, exercising outside. So I'm going to talk about 15 reasons. I've got 15 reasons that I want to share with you why you should be taking your workouts, not all the time, but at least some of them outside, because there are actually quite a few benefits. And I do it all the time. So, I work from home. I live in Maryland, and the temperature is pretty moderate. Yeah, we get a fair bit of snow. It just depends on the year, but it's pretty moderate. It does get hot and humid, but there's a lot of opportunity for me to get outside and exercise. And we live in a great neighborhood with a lot of parks and greenery and hills, a lot of places to train. So I take full advantage of that. And some of you probably don't have the luxury of doing that, but most of you do. So there's likely a park, a field, a park, even a school park, close enough within 5 to 10 minutes that you can go to. And so I've noticed how much better I feel when I'm outside training versus going to a gym. I belong to a gym, actually 2 gyms. And they're fine. I have one it's a great functional training center. And that's good for certain things. And I go there several times a week. But if the weather permits, it's not raining, it's not too hot or too cold, I'm going to take myself outside. And I've noticed that it's really helped with a number of things as far as my physical health and well-being. So, the first thing I'll tell you is a lot of us aren't getting enough natural sunlight. Most of us are sitting under these artificial lights all day long in front of computers in an office, somewhere, and it's just obviously is not good for us. And so getting outside, even 10 to 15 minutes of natural sunlight can do a couple of things. One, it increases the vitamin D, and a lot of men, and if you haven't had it checked, please do, because I spend more time outside than probably most, and I still, every time I get my numbers looked at, I'm deficient in vitamin D. So I've been supplementing with a high quality pill, but it's pretty common to be deficient in vitamin D. And I'll tell you, being outside in the natural light, again, just for a short time, will improve your sleep. It can help fight off depression. And so, if you're going to stay out for extended periods of time, yeah, sure, you maybe want to look at some sunscreen. But if you're going to be out there for a short while doing a training and exercise between 10 and 30 minutes, you're going to be fine. Second benefit I'll tell you, and this one's been huge for me. First of all, I'm an introvert. I mean, you may or may not realize that or know that because I'm in the public eye here, and I've got a podcast. I've got a lot of stuff on social media. I'm pretty open about my life, my family, but I've always been an introvert. The reason I do this is because I love what I do. I love helping dads, and I can't do that unless I become extroverted and do the things that I don't really want to do, which, like this show. I don't really love being a podcaster. I don't love being, actually, I don't even really like being on social media, but it's it's part of what you have to do when you have an online business. So, I just do the best I can with it. But anyway, so I love my time alone and being in solitude. I truly do. I mean, of course, I love being with my family, but I love being alone. And, I read something on Psychology Today, which talks about the importance of solitude and how it can help improve your concentration and increase your productivity, allows you to work through problems more effectively and even unwind. And, that doesn't necessarily mean you're out walking on a beach by yourself or walking through the forest. You could be out at a park as long as, you're doing your thing. You're alone. And typically when I go to parks to train, I don't do it when there are kids there. So it's kind of weird, to be trying to exercise while there's a bunch of kids playing. So I'll go in different times of the day where typically, you're not going to see kids. So anyway, huge benefit. And a lot of us don't even have the time. And it doesn't count when you're driving in your car to work, back and forth to work. That's not solitude. Solitude is getting outside somewhere in nature, clearing your mind. You can't really do that, although some people do when you're driving, and just kind of, being in nature. And it's if you're not doing it frequently, you're missing out. Okay. Number 3, training outside. And again, when I'm talking about training outside, I'm talking about going to some kind of park. There's a school across the street from our house where they have a park that I can go to on off hours. And there are 2 other parks, actually 3, within walking distance or biking distance that have monkey bars and slides and all kinds of shit that you can use to train. So, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, or going to a field and bringing out, a sandbag or something like that, just getting outside and training. But it's fun. And, some people, if you're someone that loves going into the gym, great, that's fine. Most people don't really love the gym. they feel like it's a necessary evil to show up to a gym, do your work, leave. But, my experience, I've been in and out of gyms, from all of my adult life. So I've been through high-end country clubs. I've been through functional training centers. I've been through small studios. I've been to big box gyms. I've been to everything between I've either trained at or worked out in. I couldn't even probably count how many. And there's some that have fantastic environments, but at the end of the day, it's still a gym. You're still sitting inside. And for me, it's not that it's not fun, but getting outside and doing, and doing my thing is so much more fun. And the importance of that is when you like what you're doing as far as exercise, you're far more likely to stick to it. And as I've said many times before, consistency is the key to all this, right? And if you fucking hate going to the gym and working out because whatever, maybe it stinks. I've been to gyms, there's a Gold's Gym here that every time I went to the bathroom, it smelled like fucking egg farts. It like personified. It was horrible. Every time it was disgusting. I hated going in there. It was dirty. Bunch of meatheads in there. I hated the environment. I went because I wanted to train. But now I don't do that. And having fun while you're working out will keep you focused, keep you engaged. And again, if you lose interest and you don't really want to do it, you're probably going to find an excuse or a reason not to go at some point, and then it's just going to kind of trail off or taper off, and you're going to stop going, and that's going to be the end of it. So fun is critical. Okay, number 4, I'm going to say it allows you to be creative. You go to the park with, an idea of what you want to do, but, you don't necessarily have a set program. And again, there's a lot to be said for having a set program, but you can get creative. There's let's say a set of monkey bars, there's some platforms, there's some slides, there's a couple of steps, there's a couple of benches. I use a picnic bench, for example, for box jumps, and then I'll turn around and I'll do overhead presses with the one side of it. So it's actually kind of cool to get creative and kind of use your body in different ways, especially when, if you're just doing straight body weight training. You kind of look at let's say you look at a park and it has a bunch of different things and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this. And there's a lot to be said for that. And I think one of the biggest benefits is the fact that you can do it with your kids. So a lot of men, and I've had this conversation many, many times, where men think that, they get up, they go to work, they come home, and then they have the things they have to do, right? Dinner, time with the family, time to unwind, bed, repeat. And so they think that, well, if I go to the gym, before work or after work, it's selfish. I'm taking away from my family time, and I've talked about this repeatedly. And I've said over and over, it's not selfish. You can't just, of course, abandon your family and in pursuit of your fitness goals, but you have to make time. But if you can combine the two and take your kids, if they're young enough, to go to a park with you, it's, not only are you having more quality family time and getting them exercising as well, because we know a lot of kids are overweight these days, but you're leading by example. Okay. I have 2 daughters, 14 and 11, and I'll take them to the parks. I'll actually take them out to the field, and I'll just take a couple of things with me, like a battle rope. I'll take a couple medicine balls, and we'll just make like a fun little course, like not an obstacle, I guess, like kind of like an obstacle course where we'll just set up little stations and we'll run around the field and do different things. But it's fun for them. It's fun for me. They get exercise. I get exercise, and they're learning that it's good to be fit, healthy, and moving instead of, hey, let's go watch a movie together, and so. That's really a lot of quality time. And now my kids, they go to the gym with me too, a lot of evenings when I have them. And so that's been phenomenal as well. I just can't talk about how important that has been to have them with me at the gym or even outside training, because it just sets such a positive example for them, as they just want to be healthier. Let's see, and this is interesting, but I'm not a spiritual guy. But I would tell you that being outside, especially on like a beautiful either spring or fall day, and yesterday was a perfect example. It was 60 degrees and sunny. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. It was gorgeous. One of those days you just feel like you're glad that you're alive. It was clear air, just amazing day. And so, yeah, I took the opportunity to go. I took my suspension trainer out, and I spent a bunch of time outside. I shot a bunch of videos. I got a really good workout in, and I sat outside, got some sun. And it's so good for your soul to be outside. And that's an important thing. And like I said, I don't really get into the spirituality piece of it. And if that's you, that's fine. But I really felt like it is. It's just good for your soul. You can't help not feeling good when you're outside on a cool day like that. So I'll tell you also that it's time efficient. Okay, so the number one reason that I hear over and over from dads in the community, and I've I've run surveys and put out lots of questions on social media about, hey, tell me why you're not fit right now. And I have heard, God, I don't even know how many times, hundreds and hundreds of different times from different men, that time is the reason they aren't fit. And so that's another whole other subject that I could talk about forever. But listen, if it's important to you, you'll make time. But I also understand that, yes, people have time constraints. Driving to a gym, doing your thing, driving home can take some time. Depends how far your gym is. But, if you're going to go outside, you don't have to go far, even if, chances are you do have a park close enough that you can go to. If not, there's a field or there's somewhere for you to train, even if it's body weight stuff. So there's no commutes, there's no waiting for machines. And most of the workouts that I do myself and the ones that I've created and have in the inner circle, under 20 minutes, whole body workouts, circuit style, a lot of, just kind of fun movements, whole body movements, heart rate up, using a lot of different muscle groups. 20 minutes, even 15 minutes. So, if you say you don't have that time, I just don't believe you, because I think everybody can find 15 to 20 minutes in their day for something as important as exercise. Okay. And, this gets you away from the gym environment too. So, walking into a gym, it smells, I talked about this a little bit already, but, it's not, yes, it's all right, we'll call it a health institution, right? You go to a gym, it's you're there for health. But I've been to plenty of gyms where I didn't feel like it was even a healthy place. Like I said, the artificial lights, the stale air, the odor, a lot of times if you're in a gym, certain gyms, there's, meatheads and, people just are turned off by that. And I've had clients, I've had clients that refused to go to a gym because of that. They were either intimidated, they didn't want to be around, people that, they felt like would look down on them. And, that's not everybody. I don't have any problems with any of that stuff, but I don't love the gym environment, and getting out of that steel box is a good thing. I'll tell you that getting outside training will boost your mood, it'll boost your energy. Okay, there's a study, and I'll link to. There's a few studies that I'm going to link to here in the blog post that I write with this show. But this is from the Journal of Positive Psychology, and it shows that just even 5 minutes outside in nature can give you an increase in positive emotions. So, especially on a beautiful day, get out. You will feel better. It's worth so much, because so many of us are just sitting inside, sitting in our cars, sitting in our houses, right? We're just not outside enough. And, believe me, I spend a lot of time outside, and it's really made a massive difference just in my attitude, my mentality, how positive I am, how I feel in the morning, how I feel in the afternoon. So seriously, that's a big plus. Okay. Another thing that I found that's awesome is you don't need anything, right? So you don't need a fancy gym setup. You don't need a garage gym. I mean, I have one that I use, and it's great, but you don't need any of that stuff. You don't need a gym membership. You don't have to hire a coach. You don't need anything. You just need your body, right? There's plenty of stuff you can do. You can get stronger. You can get leaner. You can get bigger. Whatever your goal is, you can do it without weights. Do weights help? Yes, they do, especially at certain levels. You're going to probably need some heavier weights for certain goals. But for most people looking to lose some fat, have more energy, feel better, move better, get a little stronger, right? Those are important thing. You don't need anything. Bodyweight training is fine. We've got a bunch of bodyweight programs inside the inner circle as well that are pretty popular. Of course, you can use, bands or suspension trainers, which I do. I have a suspension trainer that I'll attach to a top of it's a set of bleachers, and there's a bar there. So I'll walk to the top of the bleachers, set up the suspension trainer, and then I'll train there. It's perfect. Okay, so don't need any equipment. Another thing that I found to be pretty helpful is, breaks up the monotony, breaks up a routine. So, there is a lot to be said for having a set program, and I think a lot of people that just wing it are going to struggle. So if you're just looking, on YouTube, every day, what should I do today? I want to do chest and buys today, so let me see what I can do and look something up on YouTube. That doesn't really work. For beginners, people getting back into it, sure, really anything's going to work. But having a set routine makes sense. But there's no reason you can't supplement it. Let's say you're strength training 4 days a week in the gym and you want to do some conditioning work, some cardio work, whatever. Go to the park, get outside, break it up. Bring something to the park with you. Like I said, bands or a sandbag, a tire sled, which is awesome. I actually have a video. I'll link to it as well. But I built a tire sled for cheap. It only took me 15 minutes. And now I use it all the time. It's awesome for dragging stuff, pulling stuff. It's just a great way to break things up and just definitely challenges your body in a different way. So if you start looking forward to those types of things, you avoid some ruts and, oh man, I go to the gym today again, and it gets kind of, stale and boring. This is a great way to break it up. And one thing I haven't mentioned yet, which you're probably already thinking of, hey, it's free, right? It's free. You can't beat free. I mean, Planet Fitness is pretty damn close, but getting outside and doing whatever you want to do at a park, wherever, is free. No gym membership, no equipment at all need to buy. And I hear a lot of guys talk about finances. I ask, why aren't you fit right now? I can't afford it. Whether it's a gym membership, if it's buying equipment, you don't need money to get fit. Do you need money to buy food to eat? That will help you get fit, of course, but you're going to buy food anyway, right? You have to buy food. Just stop buying fucking Pop-Tarts and start buying healthier stuff, right? Is it more expensive? A little bit. But if you cut a couple of corners, stop going out, for lunch with your buddies or having those that 6-pack or 12-pack, whatever you're drinking a week. Cut a few small things out. I'm not talking about revamping your lifestyle, but just a few small things you can make up for it on the other end and buy healthier foods, I promise, because I do it right now myself all the time. So there's that. Okay. Let's talk about muscle confusion. I love training outside because, when you're trying to grab at bars, there's certain platforms that kind of shake. You go and I do I'll say a decline push-up on a slide. You're kind of working your muscles at different angles that aren't you're used to working. So if you're already training at a gym, you go to a park, you're going to be doing a whole bunch of different stuff, and your body's going to be like, what the hell's going on? And that's a good thing, right? Muscle confusion. But with that said, right, we've gone overboard with muscle confusion. A lot of programs out there will literally change your workouts every single day. And, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. But what I think is a better solution is, having a program that allows you to track your progress. So if you do a brand new workout every single day, you have no way of knowing if you're getting stronger, if your lifts are improving, But if you do the same program, typically 4 to 8 weeks, somewhere in there, more so, towards the latter part of that, you can really track your progress. You can see where you're at. Okay, I could do, 9 push-ups when I started. I can do 27 when I finished. I could do pull-ups. My lifts are gone from, 135 to 210, whatever it is. So, don't feel the need that you have to literally confuse your muscles every single workout, but it does count for something. So, especially if you've been doing the same stuff, and there's a lot of guys that have been doing the same workouts for many, many months just because they don't know any better. And so, you're going to hit a plateau. Everybody hits a plateau at some point. That's normal. But this is a great way to just kind of break that up. And so seriously, try to think about that, especially if you listen to this and you're in a rut, if you've been doing the same program for a while. Yeah, man, spend like 2 days during the week outside kind of in that different training environment and see how your body responds, I'm pretty sure you're going to start you'll feel it in the muscles. You'll probably be sore in certain areas. And it's just a great way to mix things up. And one of my favorite things to do, and I've done this to a few clients of mine as well, is when you take somebody outside, you're battling against the terrain. So if you're running, for example, you're running on an uneven surface, right? This is not a flat treadmill that you're going to be running on, right? There's rocks, there's dirt, there's things that are going to challenge your stability. They're going to, and that counts for a lot too, just improving stability right there, just from the environment that you're on. Hill sprints, amazing exercise. It's not very taxing because you can't really go that fast. Just make sure you control yourself on the way down. But, it's not like a flat out sprint when you're on flat ground. That can be very hard on the body. Hill sprints will still allow you to just really, really push your limits without the risk of, literally falling on your face when you're sprinting full out on a flat ground. So, you'll burn more calories. You've got wind resistance. You've got like the uneven terrain. And so if it's an apple to apples comparison versus running outside or running on a treadmill, you're going to burn more calories outside. So, that's a great way to look at it too, is, find an area that has some kind of unique, training environment or terrain and use that. Like the first thing that comes to mind is sand right at the beach. Talk about, ankle mobility, ankle stability work, working your calves, working those legs, working those quads and glutes, and just training, never mind running in the sand, which is brutal in itself, but, any kind of jumping, anything really, great environment for mixing it up. Last thing I'll say is, and it's not all that sexy, but it's, talking about your immune system. We're a society that, our immune systems suck. We're sucking all this shitty artificial air all the time. We're around, nasty germs everywhere. Think about anywhere really. You go to the store, you go get gas, I'm not even talking about public restrooms, which are disgusting, but, places you wouldn't think. We're picking up germs, right? And so if we're taking a multivitamin, which you probably should be, great, but you still want to boost your immune system as much as you can. And there's a study that I read, International Journal of Immunopathology. I'll link to it if you're interested in reading it. Which talks about breathing in the small amount of airborne plant chemicals can improve your immune system by up to 50%. Point being, get outside, breathe the fresh air, try to get as far away from possible as, smoke and, chemicals and things that are being emitted from buildings and cars and things like that. And just try to breathe fresh air into your lungs, and it does help with your immune system. So that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you today. And, it's really important that you at least try this because, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. I've trained in so many places, and some of the best workouts I've ever had were outside with using no equipment, being outside, and you just feel good. And there's so much to be said for all that. So I'm going to, when I record these podcasts, I write, not only is it on iTunes, obviously, and Stitcher and all that other stuff, but I have a blog post that I put on my website, fitdeadnation.com, and I'll have the written version of this, all the bullet points, all the things I'm talking about today, the links, all that good stuff. You can find that at fitdeadnation.com/podcasts. That's where all my shows are. And I hope it helps. I'm going to link to a couple of different workouts as well. So if you go to the website, you'll be able to find a couple of video workouts about outside stuff. Again, so time efficient. It's free. You're going to feel awesome doing it. Give it a try. I'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you want more information, check out the Fit Dad Basecamp group on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by fitdadnation.com. Until next time, keep kicking ass and taking the next step. You can do this, Dad.